To be honest, I prefer this way instead of getting those grafted varieties. One, it's economical. Two, you can get to this point, this kind of tower within 6 to 8 months. And chances of those grafted ones failing are more given there is only one rootstock. So if that fails, the whole thing, the whole Bougainvillea plant fails. But here you can have 3 or even 4 varieties and even. Hey plant lover, how you doing? This is an interesting video on a couple of counts. One, I'm combining 3 different colored bougainvilleas in one pot. Two, I'm going to start some foot-long cuttings. Yes, not your regular size of 6 to 8 inches, but almost double the size we have always been propagating. The result has come out really great, awesome to say the least. So stay tuned and watch the whole video with me. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment. And yes, subscribe. Should we get started then? Alright, here we go. Let me start by saying don't try this project if you have never propagated cuttings the traditional way. What I mean is to start with a few cuttings that are smaller in size first and then attempt this kind of propagation. It's not difficult, but managing a foot-long cutting is way too difficult than the regular size cutting. So if you kind of fail at this, you would have wasted a whole branch. So yes, don't start this unless you have watched some regular Bougainvillea propagation videos and done that yourself. I have left some links below, check them out. Now that's how you prepare the cuttings. Everything remains exactly the same as we have been doing for so long. However, if you don't combine 3-4 cuttings in a pot the way I did, chances are that they would dry up given of a foot-long size. So the right way would be to do exactly what you're seeing here. Please note if you plant these cuttings apart, bad idea. Make sure they're as close as possible, avoiding possible dryouts. Perfect. Cuttings are starting to sprout into new and independent plants. Awesome. This is where we are at in a couple of weeks. So once you have this kind of growth onto your cuttings of this size, know that the pot is being squeezed by the root structure for space. Now you might say, why did I use a small pot? Well, it's important to use a small size pot for the first 2-3 months when it comes to bougainvilleas. Of course, we'll repot these soon, but before transferring them to a bigger pot, I would be trimming the roots to get them sturdier and make sure they are accommodating to any new environment. Watch carefully. This is how you trim the roots and repot any new plant started from a cutting. Minimum damage should be the goal. Here, we will be changing soil content, just adding fresh soil with some organic fertilizer, and we got another couple of months before we take it to even bigger pot. I did the second repotting exercise, and after a few months, let's say some 7 months after we propagated those cuttings, we have this on our hands. All of them are in bloom, some are more, some are less, that's fine. Different varieties, different growth habits. Of course, we'll manage it all once we get the first prune done, which will happen anytime after they're older than a year or so. And there would be a video on that too, so watch out. Until then, this is how things look. Great, beautiful. Let them grow however they want, nothing to think about, nothing to worry about. Add another batch of fertilizer right about now to make sure they have enough quality food for next 6 to 8 months. To be honest, I prefer this way instead of getting those grafted varieties. One, it's economical. Two, you can get to this point, this kind of tower within 6 to 8 months. And chances of those grafted ones failing are more given there is only one rootstock. So if that fails, the whole thing, the whole Bougainvillea plant fails. But here you can have 3 or even 4 varieties, and even if one fails, you would still have so much color left in the pot. I love what I'm seeing here, and the cutting size we got when we started this propagation is giving the impression that these are some 3 4 year old plants in a pot. So all in all, this has to be your go-to project if you're planning to start some new bougainvilleas from cuttings. I understand we all have areas where we need more guidance, more information. So if you have any questions about soil, watering, sunlight, temperature, fertilizer, pruning, trimming, and the likes, please post your comments and we'll talk about it every single time without fail. That's a wrap. I have to admit, one of the most fun projects I have ever attempted. Hope you liked it, and if you did, hit like and share it with your plant friends right away. Comment on anything you have for me, feedback, suggestions, and know that I read all your comments so nothing would go unnoticed. Thank you for your time. Always a pleasure to share these videos with you, and I'll be back with something interesting real soon. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep growing plants and trees. Every step in this direction counts a lot, so keep at it. Thank you, cheers, goodbye.